Hey, it's Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Friday. It's September the 5th. This will be our chart lesson for today. It's pretty late on Friday evening, and I wanted to come in and do this anyway because I've had been gone so much, and then uh, been away, and hadn't been here full time during the week this week either. So I wanted to make sure I did one today for everybody. But it pretty much was a trading range day until late morning. And I'll show you this in a minute, but we had this little failed break lower down here with a trap, and it was all uphill from there. And I actually wanted to draw, I want to change a couple of these. This one's supposed to be green. Forgot to apply it. For some reason, it's just not drawing green. Let's try it again. There we go. And then I want to draw that one green too. And let me show you this. What we really had here is it looked like a trading range. There was some big news that came out around 7:30 right in here, and that's why I don't have any trades. This all moved really quickly and was, emotionally driven. And what usually happens on those news items is they take it all back rather quickly, and then it kind of resets and starts over. And that's pretty much the MO this morning. And I believe the trading range was taking precedence, but you couldn't ignore this uptrend here, which we overshot. Then you had the break, and it tried to move to a new high, and it just couldn't. The range took over, and then it was obvious we were in this trading range. But this is a classic break lower. You really could have even aggressive trader. I love these setups, and I'll talk about this in a minute. I'm gonna go ahead and draw that one green too. That's a trade you want to take if you recognize what's going on, and I'll explain it to you in just a minute. But this looks kind of messy, but there's a short-term trend channel right here. There's one up, break a new high. You got one down, a break a new low, and then this kind of took over in the afternoon. I moved this a minute ago by accident, and it pretty much held all day. And you can see that right through there. It pretty much held all day. You got a break right in there, and then it kind of moved to a new high and kind of petered off there. But for the most part, the range was in play most of the day. And but let's talk about the trades. I don't want to keep this too long. It's late on Friday. Um, but you had this channel working down. You had the break. It tried to go lower once. It tried to go lower twice. And at this point, this line would have been right here. And right there, it trapped people. It broke lower first. I'm grabbing everything. I just get my chart's a little messy. And, but you need to see all this, and I don't want to have to add it and re-add it, so you just have to bear with it. I apologize. But it broke lower the first there, and it went right out the top. And this was a little bit before the news came out. It came out somewhere right in here. So I went back and forth about this one being green or not, but at the time this was acting as support, and guess what? That was this was right where the lows were of yesterday, so that's that important area. And when it reversed there, but notice it tried to go lower once, twice, three times, and then a fourth time, and so that's just really strong support. You're going back to at least the EMA, probably going back up here, but this thing just took off. It was quick and easy. But you had to be thinking about that 7:30 news that came out there as well. So there wasn't a lot of time, so you may not want to take that one. But with that trap there, I just, that's a nice trade. And I didn't mark anything in here because that's during the emotional. You can see how big the bars are. It's real emotional. Just kind of wait. And even this one was maybe iffy. But look at this. One leg down, pull back, second leg down. It's two basically measured moves. But look at that. It broke a tick lower, reverse, closed on its high. I like that to go long. It's probably coming back to the EMA. But it might come back and test the high again. And if you saw this trend, we already really had the break and the new high. So it just depends on how you were looking at this. But you'll get some breaks like this in the overnight, and then once it gets back into 8:30, it kind of goes back to normal again. So it doesn't scare me there to go long, although it was still a little bit emotional. But that's with it taking back all the news right back to where it started, and then it reverses. And then I drew this one green, but there's a first entry pullback. There's a second entry long right there. And at this point, your highs you're looking at up here. So this one's probably okay to take. It was good for just a scalp, and then it sold off like crazy again. Um, I don't see any way to enter that one. You might have went long right here, but I don't really like it. It's too tight, and it's just still a little emotional. And it comes up, and then you get a two-legged pullback. It didn't break higher there, but that's still two legs back, so this is like a second entry long. Notice the move down, the little correction, then the second leg down is two measured legs. So I like that, and it's the bounce right off the midline kind of where the range was. And this had moved up to right in here. And actually, where did I have this? I think I had it right there. There you go. And you got the two measured legs and two measured areas of the trading range. For some reason, I couldn't get that out there. I'm sorry. You can see that they're two equal, but it pulls back and it bounces there too. So that there's a couple different reasons to go along there. Easy scalp, and then it pulls back and it goes higher again. But hopefully you saw this little trend channel working down here. You may not have had that. It's a little bit difficult to find. You couldn't really find it until we caught it again right here. So, but anyway, it's a turn down right there, and it tried to go. You can't go long there, so just sit tight, and it breaks higher, and it turns. And look at that bearish bar. Just go short right there. Boom. And then this is like a little breakout pullback short, and it catches that trend line again. You might want to wait on this bar and try to use a limit order, maybe get a tick or two back in so you can get higher. But you really could have gone short below that doji on that one because it's a failed second. Notice the new high, first entry long pullback. It's a failed second entry long, so it's a trap. Big bearish bar, takes off like a rocket, and you get a little two-legged correction right here with a second entry short. It's right off that trend line. It's a little bit questionable because here, but notice that trend line working down, that shorter term one, that lighter one in there. I think that gives you enough to try to get in with a limit order, and you could have there, and it turns out to be an easy one. Then it comes back and it's like a little breakout pullback short. You might have even thought about going long there, but if you were paying attention and saw the short-term trend line, I think that makes that too risky. So I didn't like going long there. We really had, even though this is a trading range, the tendency is down at this point. It's been kind of trending down since 9 o'clock and for the last 30 minutes or so. So I like that for a short, no long there. Looking for it to make a new low. And when that bounced there, you probably would have this, you'd be looking at this level right across there, and boom. And then look at this. Let me show you this right here. You got your lows right across here, your lowest low right there. But look at that that's that little trap. It breaks just a little lower than that previous double bottom and turns up. And this is when you'll see this pattern over, and they trap people and they got it going the other way. All these people get short. This is just a beautiful, I love those setups. They'll make you a lot of money if you learn to spot them and how to take them. They're a little scary, but you had your break here, your short term, a new low, and plus this is a strong low right here. You can see it, and you get that little 1 or 2 tick trap, and it reverses, and look how bullish that big green bar is. Wait on a break above it and drop you a limit order, and you see it would have probably gotten you out, and then it comes back and you could have added on there. That's a second entry long. Again, it's a little bit aggressive because you got 2 legs up and then you're moving down. It's a little bit aggressive because it's not a very good signal bar, and this signal bar is so big that you got to be careful entering way up here, and it doesn't really come back. So it's a little bit aggressive, but when you get this failed second entry short here that turns back up, I like this one. I don't even think you have to wait on that bar. Just go long above that one, because notice the new low. Coming back, first entry, pull back, and right there was a second entry short. It fails, and it reverses up. And you've already had your break of this if you're looking at this two-tiered channel coming down. And it just turns out to be a two-tiered channel. Here it gets a little iffy. This should probably be in the burgundy color. Too much overlap and all for me. There is a failed, notice this new high and first entry short, and there's a second entry short. It fails and it turns up. If you took it, it worked. You had to ride all this out, but it did work. I just think if you didn't take that, then you had to just kind of sit tight. And then it gives you that next little move down and turns and goes out the top. I like that one right off that trend line. And you're looking for prices to head up here. Everything's above the EMA and bouncing off of it now. I like that one to go long. And that was another clue here. Look how when this came back, it didn't even check up at the EMA. It went straight through, pulls back, and then turns down. That's another reason I like that one. Look at that one, how it went straight through. That's telling you something. That's a big tail. And then right here, even though there's a little failed, look at all those dojis and overlapping. Even though it worked, it's a little breakout pullback long. I just don't like it. It's too risky. I think it worked this time, but next time you'll get trapped right there. So just sit tight and wait, and then it gives you a great entry right here. Look at that two-legged pullback, second entry long, right at the EMA, right at the trend line. Nice, easy move. And it actually gives you another one right there. Same thing, repeat type pattern. Go ahead and mark it. I didn't have it marked. It's getting late. It's 1 o'clock. And then you get another one right there. Pull back first entry, pull back second entry. This was the first break of your trend line. You don't really have a new high yet, so you might have even gone with that one too. So it was really strong here. They trapped everybody and they ran it up, and they love to do that. And so that's what I saw today. I didn't get much trading done today. I only traded a couple of hours, really not even that, an hour and a half. But there were a couple of decent moves. So I made a little money today. I hope you had a good trading week. Hope you made some money this week. Hopefully next week I'm going to be back to normal. Maybe it may be a little bit tight for me Monday and maybe even Tuesday, but at least by Wednesday we'll be back to normal. But maybe even on Monday. It just depends on how it goes. We had a little rain around here, and I got a little sidetracked with my project, so I'm still not completely done. So it'll probably run into Monday with no midday chart and me being late doing the chart lesson each day. But hopefully by Tuesday or Wednesday for sure we'll be back to normal. So I'm going to wrap it up. Hope you have a great weekend. We'll be back next week to do it all over again. This is Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.